So, I've been seeing this shit all around the internet. Um, and the question uh, that a lot of people have in their mock drafts, and I see a lot of people saying that the Dolphins should draft OJ Howard or the tight end from the University of Miami. So, what are my thoughts? Should the Miami Dolphins draft OJ Howard, or I think his name is Noku, from the University of Miami?
Hell no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Listen.
Hell no to the no, no, no. Listen, hold on. Wait a minute. Come out. Come out. Because I don't want people to get confused. I don't want people to get confused one bit. So, first of all, let me just say that I am a fan of scoring. You guys know this shit. I want to put up points. I want to be a prolific offense. I want to be an offense that forces defenses, that forces other offenses to take chances to keep up with our offense. That is the kind of offense that I want, right? But I also understand that defense wins championships. I understand that there are several teams that have won championships with a strong running game, a quarterback doing the bare minimum, and the defense carrying a team. It has happened a few times. It happened last year with Peyton Manning. Some would say that it happened with Russell Wilson, even though I think Russell Wilson did make some plays. The Pittsburgh Steelers with Big Ben Roethlisberger, that first Super Bowl for Big Ben Roethlisberger, that team was designed around their defense. Jerome Bettis and Fast Willie Parker. That's how they won that first championship. Now, the second championship that they won when they beat the Arizona Cardinals. Now that Super Bowl, that was a Big Ben Roethlisberger Super Bowl. But if you go back to that first Super Bowl, that was a run game with Bettis and Parker and defense. I mean, you got the Ravens, you got the Buccaneers. You can win a championship by running the ball and playing great defense. I would like to see our defense in the top 15, both running, passing, and points. That would give us one hell of a chance to make a deep run at the playoffs. And the way that I feel like we need to do that is by giving this defense some young bodies. Our best sack man, the best sack guy that we have on this team right now is a 35-year-old man, Cam Wake. Cam Wake cannot be the best sack guy forever on this team. I understand. He's a great player. I understand that. But he's older. Our linebackers have been bad for a while. They have. And we haven't repaired it. Every time I look up and I see Neville Hewitt on the field, I go, what the fuck are we doing? That's happened in the past 2 seasons. That we've gotten so thin that Neville Hewitt is out there as one of our linebackers. And I feel, to me, if you ask me, I think Neville Hewitt would be a better safety than he is a linebacker. I'm just saying. But, yeah. I feel like in this draft, we need to go defense, and more deep. If we can get a steal late in the draft, last year in the draft, we selected Carew, Grant, Tunsil, Drake, Doherty, and that tight end Duarte. We drafted that quarterback, and we drafted that tight end. We drafted 6 players on offense. 6. We traded up to draft a receiver that did not see the field the entire season. Maybe I think he got on the field like a couple plays. I remember him catching one pass, and that was for a touchdown. We put a lot of money and a lot of picks into this offense. I feel I look at this offense on paper, and I said this last year. I look at this offense on paper right now, and I feel like we should be a top 10 offense. The only question was the Ajayi in the run game because I didn't know what the hell we were going to get out of Foster, Ajayi. I forget who the other guy we had. I think his name was I forget his name. He was the guy from the Rams, Isaiah Peed. You know what I mean? I didn't know what we were going to get from the run game. Jay Ajayi surprised the shit out of me. He did. Surprised the shit out of me with the season he had. And that was not even starting, not even getting more than, 15 reps until like game 6. Those numbers. If he would have started from week 1, who knows? He could have possibly had, well, I don't know, because he did have some slow games in those games. He did have some games where he only hit 70, 80 yards, but still, 6 more games at 80 yards, what would the numbers look like? Fantastic. And could you imagine if he was doing that behind the line that when he had those breakout games? If that line right there could stay intact and healthy, his numbers would have been absolutely excellent. But no. I for one, I'm gonna go to the comment section in a minute here. I for one believe that we need linebacker help. I feel like we need to go defensive line. I said it last year, remember? We need to go defensive line, defensive end, and defensive end linebacker. Those things should be the things that we focus the most on. Everything else, whatever. And maybe interior offensive line. Do you honestly see us in the playoffs again? Next season, we play one hell of a we play one hell of a season. We play a lot of we play a lot of tough games next season. It's gonna be rough. We play some very good offenses. We cannot come out there on offense and wait till the third quarter to start trying to score. That seemed to be the theme. Every time we faced a really good team outside of Pittsburgh, we didn't score until the second half of the freaking game. Patriots, Ravens, and by that time it's too late. We're trying to make our run at the tail end of the game. If the Rams were a better team offensively, we would have lost that game. We can't wait and allow teams to get out in front. We're not built like that. Now, hopefully, this year we add some guys like Ingram, like Hightower possibly, a couple guys in the draft like Zach Cunningham, Bower from Clemson. We can get him later in the draft. Johnson, the defensive end from, I think he's from Iowa. That's where he's from. I've been talking about this guy like for a while. I've been talking about him, and I always forget his last name for some reason. I'm forever forgetting that dude's last name, but he's a phenomenal defensive end. TJ Watt would be another good one. There is way too much defensive talent that could fall in this first round of the draft to draft a tight end. To me, a tight end would be a luxury. That's a luxury pick. And I know like people will say shit like, let's take the best player available. And I agree. I don't think we should reach for Bullware if we don't have him graded like that. Because a lot of people don't. He's short. He's slow. He's got that. He has great IQ and great instincts. I like that from all of the film that I watched on him. But there's enough guys, Davis, McKinley. There's enough guys to me that say we shouldn't draft the tight end. If Romo goes to the Broncos, will that hurt us? I come into every season. Every season I come into, I don't think wild card. Like I'm a homer. I need you guys to understand this shit. I need you guys to understand that Isaiah is a homer. I come into every season thinking that we're gonna go 16-0. That's just how I think. I never think about my team losing until the final tick goes off the clock. So wild card, I want to win the division. I felt like we could have won the division this year if it wasn't for a couple games, especially the Raven game. We were still right there in the hunt for the division, and then we went out and laid an egg in that freaking Raven game, and then we ended up, all the other stuff happened. Tannehill gets hurt. We lose to the Patriots, and we go in as a wild card. But I felt like we could have won the division. I wanted the division last year. I feel like we can win the division this coming season. So let's see what else here. Should we draft outside linebacker or inside linebacker? I'm thinking inside linebacker first, or outside linebacker. I'll take either one. Because I'm hearing that Kiko Alonso will be brought back, but he's going to be, we're going to try to move him to the outside. So, I mean, if we can get a Kiko Alonso outside, I don't remember what position Ingram plays. I think he may be out. Yeah, Melvin Ingram is an outside linebacker as well. So Kiko Alonso, Melvin Ingram, and we draft somebody for the middle. I'm cool with that. Who should start at QB? You know what? Like I don't know. I don't know if you. I mean, because Ryan Tannehill is going to be coming back off of an injury. If he's 100% and ready to make strides, I don't see how you go elsewhere. You know what I mean? At 100%, I guess you have to start Tannehill. Should we go after Jason Pierre-Paul? Mr. Bullwinkle, I need your help again.
Come on. I ain't gonna preach to him, but the truth is I ain't come on to the no. Come on.
Should we go after Jason Pierre-Paul?
Come on. Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no.
No. I don't want no more old ass washed up players on the decline of their game. I want to go young. I don't want to spend big money in free. I don't feel like we should spend big money in free agency. It hasn't really worked out for us that much. I mean, Sue has been fantastic, but a lot of our big money spending in free agents, the shit hasn't worked. It hasn't worked out for us. I would rather us draft a young team, build our team through the draft these kids, find steals, find steals in the later rounds. That's how the better teams are built. If you look at a team like Seattle, right? You look at a team like Seattle and look when they were really badass with the Legion of Boom. I mean, Richard Sherman was a late pick. He wasn't getting paid big dollars. Cam Chancellor was a late pick. He wasn't getting paid big dollars. A lot of those linebackers that they had back in that day, they weren't getting paid big dollars. Russell Wilson was a second round pick. He wasn't getting paid big dollars. You know what I mean? So they had an advantage over teams because they found diamonds. You know what I mean? And they weren't paying those guys. Now you see Russell Wilson getting this, big salary, Sherman, Chancellor, all those guys getting big money, and you start to see these guys not have this success that they were having because they don't have the money. You know what I mean? They used to have a huge advantage over teams simply because they drafted well. And I think that's something that we absolutely have to commit to. So, anyway, man, that is my thoughts. That's my thoughts on this. Should we should we draft OJ Howard? Um, my answer is
To the no, 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 listen. No, no, come on, come on, come on. Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. To the no, no, no.
no. Please. And there's some things I say um, where people just look at the screen, and I could feel them staring at their screen on their computers or staring at their cell phone screen and going, "Wow, that's some way out in left field shit that he just said. I can't believe he said that shit." But there have been a lot of things that I've said that have been absolutely spot on. One of those things being Marcus Peters. Remember that? Remember, go back to that video. Remember that video when we were talking about Marcus Peters? And now he's like because I wanted to go corner, if you remember. I wanted to go corner in that draft. And Trey Waynes was already gone. So I said, you know what? We need to go and get Marcus Peters. Remember? And Marcus Peters ends up coming off the board to Kansas City a few picks after we drafted Devontae Parker. Now, I'm not knocking Parker anymore. I knocked him for a while. I did. You guys remember this shit. I knocked Parker for a while. But I mean, that's water under the bridge right now. He's on our team. I do see the potential in Devontae Parker, but I also see a Pro Bowler. I see one of the best young cornerbacks in football playing for Kansas City, and I see us still trying to get the most out of Devontae Parker. I see it. I see the talent. I see AJ Green like talent, but we still haven't seen it. So anyway, man, let me know what you guys feel about this. I will talk to you guys next time. When we get ready, once the combine happens, we'll come back and we'll talk combine. I will give my final. I'll probably do 2 more mock drafts before the draft, and then draft night, man. Draft night, we will go live and we will react live to the number 22 pick in the draft. We're gonna go live on that. We'll talk about that. We'll get a instant reaction as to what the pick was, what I think about the pick. Do I think it was a great pick or not? So, yeah. So anyway, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at casual at KASUW shit at casual at KASUWELL is the Twitter handle. I have no idea what I said. I said some shit that I don't even remember. So anyway, man, I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.